think this will work. Yay! Okay. This is a good sign, guys. This is a good sign, I think. Fingers crossed that, that we get this going. I think I might have, 1 second. We'll give everybody a second to get into in as well. Okay, I think I have it solved now. All right, it looks like we have about 16 on, so some of you have made it over, and thank you. I'll give it one more weird. I don't know. I think it's because I tried to open the stream on my laptop as well as on my phone. I don't know. I don't know the mysteries of doing lives. All right, so this is great. I'm glad everyone can hear me. And GLG, Monica, Katie, and Moy. Oh, I know you comment on like everything. Lynn Chandler, Betty Baby for Life, Diane Zickos, LaDonna Nation. Oh, I think I know who that is. Megan G, Kim Cullen, Daryl Farney, Margaret Moreno, Heidi Burrows, Rye 55. Okay, probably not that one. And Sarah Loki. Okay, Bumbling Gardener. Hey! Okay, so I think we have a solution now. I have I think people are finding the new one. Maybe I should go to the old one and tell people, but I'm so afraid if I go to the old one and tell people to go to this one that I'm not sure what to do. Well, let's just hope. I think let's just hope everyone finds it. It looks like people are coming. Okay, you left a comment in the old one. That's awesome. That'll take care of it then, hopefully. I'm mostly worried about my parents, who I know are trying to tune in, and I don't think they quite know how to do it. I know they've tuned in before, but I don't think they've done live chats or live streams before. So, okay, that's true. If people have done what I've asked, they will have a notification, and they will know where to go. So, thank you so much. I can't believe, I honestly thought we would have like 5 to 10 people, like mostly my family, and on this, and I'm so excited to see everyone I am. And why is my camera trying to focus? Stop that. I don't know if I can solve that. But I am just so thrilled to have everyone on here. And you may see Along the River Homestead is my mod on this. And it's my friend Chrissy, who we have, she has a great channel. I recommend checking it out. And she does like lotions and soaps and all kinds of natural things that are really beautiful. And also she has something in common, is how we got to know each other. She's actually she grew up in the same town my husband grew up in Maryland, in Essex, in the house. So, yeah, it's great to have all of you here. And let me talk about a couple things. So I hope you'll bear with me that I'm so new at this live stream, and therefore I'm probably not going to answer all of your questions, catch everything you say, or thank everybody, like catch everybody who comes in. I'm going to try my best to do that, but it can be a little bit challenging sometimes. And yeah, make sure to hit the thumbs up. So let's see who else I didn't call out that was in here. I think Lucy C, Daryl Farmy, Lisa Moore. Did I miss anybody? I don't know. Thanks, Bumbling Gardener. All right, so I want to just mention that I'm going to talk a little bit, and I would love to hear your questions too. But one of the things I've kind of been not low-key obsessed about, like crazy obsessed about, has been winter sowing, which is basically a process of growing seedlings outdoors using things like milk jugs, soda bottles, things like that, instead of having to set up indoors with your grow lights. And so I've done a huge amount of series on this, and so you may hear people asking questions about that. And I think along the river homestead, Chrissy, I think she mentioned, I've already got her hooked. And I think she had a link up higher in the chat if you want to check out that series. Drops Family Garden, hello. And oh, I missed Two Family Homestead. Oh, awesome. Sweet. So that's one thing. And I just want to say that I'm going to try to do some giveaways in this, and I'm going to be using Nightbot, and I'll be doing a couple of them, maybe 2 or 3 throughout the entire video or the entire live stream. But I've never done it before, so we may have to reschedule. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, so I'm actually going to post a video tomorrow morning. I've already edited it and have it to go. The amount of things that have sprouted has like tripled in my jugs, and it's pretty much all still cool weather stuff, but I have flowers, I have vegetables, I have herbs, I have medicinal plants sprouting, and it's just so exciting for me. Oh, good. What did you said you started seeing sprouts. Disco Monster. What are you seeing sprouts on? What are you seeing growing? And even if you aren't doing winter sowing, I'm totally excited to hear what you are growing and what you're most excited to have this year. For me, annual flowers. That's really nice. For me, I like the 2 types of vegetables I cannot go without are peppers and tomatoes. And I've also started doing a video about what tomatoes I'm growing this year. But I'm going to be trying some determinate tomatoes, which, Michelle Stevens, all of your poppies are sprouting. Oh, I bet that's so exciting. And calendula too. Oh yeah. I actually had some calendula sprout too. That's awesome. Kale and bachelor buttons. Cheyenne Desmet. Awesome. So exciting. Oh, from Virginia. You like my videos. Thank you, Tina1123. I appreciate that. I can't believe we have 46 people on this right now. It's my first live. Wow. You guys you're like making me get verklempt here that you're on it. Today was a really neat day for me because it was the first day I got to, not winter sowing, but I got to go outside and actually put my hands in the soil to not just prep beds, but to actually sow some seeds. And I just wanted to mention tonight, and I think I've said it in some of my videos before, but I'm finding that gardening, and this is my second full year gardening, I'm finding that gardening is kind of like cooking. You have to be brave. It's a little bit scary, and you kind of just have to try it. And if you burn the pan, the metaphor, right, with cooking, if you burn the pan, just get another pan out and start over again. And you really can't get discouraged. And the nice thing about winter sowing is it is pretty close to foolproof if you follow everything, the basics of it. And, you know, as a new gardener last year when I discovered winter sowing, I was so comforted by having an easy to do process when everything else about gardening can be so confusing. And somebody asked, what did I sow? VSM, you asked, what did I sow? Hi, Nana Pelletier. Thank you for joining us. And I know I missed some other people, so I apologize if I did. So what did I sow today? I sowed beets and radishes, like 3 different kinds of radishes. I had a video on that earlier today, so you could check that out. And then tonight I went out like an hour before this started, and I was like, I need to calm my thoughts. So, gosh, why am I getting verklempt? I guess I'm just so excited. I went and sat outside, and I have this stack of mulch and compost in bags and things like that, and I just used it as a chair, and I sat in it and like sat and stared at my garden and listened to the birds getting louder as the sun set. And just, guys, being out in the garden again was so nice. You know, I love winter sowing and I love getting the jugs ready in the winter, but just yeah, being outdoors and around nature. And like I heard, I used to think it was an owl, but it's actually a mourning dove. It sounds kind of like an owl. I heard a mourning dove, and then I heard birds calling to each other, and and pests are starting to show up, guys. I saw my first cabbage moth or cabbage butterfly that was coming to lay eggs on my kohlrabi and my purple Brussels sprouts, and so I had to cover them up with emergency covers. So now I have to go out and take care of that. But I'm just so happy to see everything coming to life and the promise of being able to plant up these jugs soon. Ooh, love and joy. Chamomile, bok choy, and hollyhocks have sprouted. Oh, that's wonderful. I don't think my chamomile has sprouted yet. If you saw, I'm going to be growing. I've decided that under the big tree, it's actually a small tree, the Japanese maple outside, that I'm going to create like a carpet of dwarf chamomile. And I just cannot wait for that to sprout. Oh, Lisa Moore, how you're going to separate the plants. As soon as my seedlings are big enough to do a video on it, I will do a video on it, I promise. But you honestly can treat it almost like you would transplanting anything, and just be really careful to separate them, kind of help them, like when you're trying to undo a knot, kind of you gotta hold the soil and the 2 different roots and try to separate them and then put them in the ground. But I will definitely do a video when that time comes. And yeah, questions in caps so they're easier to see, and hopefully the Nightbot will not will not block them, but I think we should be good. That's true, Lisa Moore. Some are so thickly in there, and you can do, I think that's what you're referring to. You can do what's called the hunk of seedling, or hunk of seeds. So you basically cut the jug's worth of seeds into like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever size you want, and just plant each of those separately, and then let the plants fight out for who survives, right? And okay, let's see. Now I really haven't put netting on them. Yes, GLG, I'm actually going to, I bought oh, it's not right here in front of me. I bought an ridiculous amount of bridal tulle that I'm going to put over my plants so they can still get the sun and the rain and all of that. I'm going to put that over my brassicas, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to cut up and do, so I've been putting it off. I would love to see your tips for how do you cover it with netting or tulle? What's your best tip? Michelle Stevens, you asked, is it too late to start seeds indoors? I don't think it's too late to start seedlings indoors. But I don't know as much about growing seedlings indoors because I do the winter sowing process where I grow them outside. And honestly, this is only like my second year of trying to... Oh, Nightbot seems overly aggressive. Well, let me try going in and changing the spam protection. Let me try turning it off. I didn't actually set up anything on it other than to create it. Bad Nightbot. Okay, I tell you what. I know. I didn't even know it would catch spam, and I don't even know how to turn it off because this is the thing I'm going to use for the giveaway. So why don't I do a giveaway really quick, and then I can disconnect Nightbot from the program, and then love, joy, gratitude. Yes, I'm going to use some piping, but let's get to this giveaway first. I need to read some of the rules for them. Assuming it works. So first of all, let me show you what I'm giving away. I was going to break them up into threes, but I think I'll break them up into two so we only have Nightbot connected like twice. And the first set, I think this works. The first set is my own Mexican sunflower seeds that I gathered from my Mexican sunflowers. So if you're in zone 7A, these are already acclimated to this area. And my next one, these are just so pretty. I love these. Viola Johnny Jump Ups. Not only are they named same name as my mother, but they're these beautiful little delicate violas that are they're so beautiful. And I had a great joy growing them last year. And then I'm a huge fan of Roots and Refuge. I don't know about you guys, but Jessica Sowers grows Armenian cucumbers every year. And I bought these with the ambition that I would be able to get the trellising that I need to done for these. And I'm not going to, so I'm going to give it to someone on here. All right, so here's the rules. And I'm just going to say the disclaimers real quick. This is free to enter. You must be present to win. Along the River Homestead, that'd be awesome. You must be present to win, as in you must be participating in the live chat, not watching it later. This giveaway is not affiliated nor associated with YouTube. They're not a sponsor. It complies with all of YouTube's terms of service. As I've already talked about, I'm using an online random winning generator called Nightbot, which is overly aggressive on comments. And to be entered into the giveaway, you will need to have chatted in the live chat, what y'all are chatting in now. You will need to have chatted in the last 10 minutes. So if you haven't spoken up yet, this is your time if you want to win some seeds to just type in chat and hit enter or something to make sure that you are entered. And I will give it like another minute before I hit the button, assuming it works. And then Adrian from Farmstead Smith had this idea yesterday that I loved. That was that also to win, you need to have an email address in your about section so that I can find you to kind of avoid somebody accidentally or claiming to have one and not actually having one. So make sure your about section on your YouTube page has your email address. Of course, if like my dad wins randomly or something, you know, I know his email address, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so who said, Nana said you'd type chat for fear Nightbot will give you a warning. You're killing me. Okay, everybody, fingers crossed. Let's get this done so we can turn off Nightbot. Let's hope it works. All right. I think I'm supposed to type. Okay, let's try this. This. If I can spell. Okay, do we get something? Tell me, guys. Okay, let me try it here. Did we get a winner? This live event is over. No, not that live event, you stupid machine. All right. Let's try refreshing Nightbot. Obviously, it is F11. Not, oh, that's the wrong one. God, why can't I remember what a refresh is? Okay, there we go. All right, let's try it now, guys. Let's see. It's being a bothead. Who said that? Oh, Christy, you're killing me. All right, let's try it. Fingers crossed, everybody, that I did it right. Lucy C wins! All right, Lucy C, tell us if you're here. It already booted people. Oh, no. Well, yay, Lucy C, congratulations. Let me write it down in case Nightbot does something else horrible. And make sure that your email address is in your about section by like the end of tomorrow, because that's probably about the time I'll get it to it. So Lucy C. Okay. All right. Let's disconnect Nightbot before it causes us more problems. Log out. Okay. Let's see. Did that do it? Do we still have Nightbot? Is it still giving us trouble? Somebody do something stupid and see if Nightbot kicks it out. Oh, no. Wait. Nightbot's still doing it. All right. Hold on a second. Let's give it like one more minute to see if it actually logged out. This is, oh no, I hope Tinker's wife didn't get deleted. Oh no. Is it still with us? Okay, all right, let me try logging in and disconnecting it again. I'm so sorry, guys. I really did not expect, I did not expect this to be an issue. I thought I was just signing up. Part channel. Nightbot is now leaving the channel. Yes, Nana, you are still here. Okay, guys, let's see. Let's give it like 30 seconds. Lynn, Nightbot is an app. Nightbot is an app that is supposed to help me do giveaways like I just did, but apparently I need to turn off the security part of it because I have Christy and she's awesome. I don't need. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Drops Family Garden. It's not needed for that. I only wanted it to give stuff away, and apparently. And apparently I have an OCD Nightbot that is taking its job way too seriously. All right, is Nightbot still with us, Chrissy? Does can anybody tell? Let's see. Oh no! Let's see. Oh, drops Family Garden, don't you dare. Oh my gosh, it's almost as bad as Crazy Uncle Al. Um, right, Chrissy? He was crazy on your on your Thank you, Susan G. I promise to do one more giveaway at the very end so nobody gets kicked off unnecessarily, where we'll reconnect it. And oh, Uncle Al. Yeah, on Chrissy's channel, this was it? What is his name, Chrissy? It is Al, right? Like Crazy Uncle Al, and he was just insane. He was like stream of consciousness. Okay, hi, Kalga Turpy. All right, so start asking me questions now that we got the Nightbot under control. I'm so sorry, guys. AI is your friend, but sometimes it isn't. And put your questions in all caps, and I will do my best to answer them. And I apologize if I missed people coming in. The Tinkerer is right. Nightbot is still listed as participating in live chat. Oh, shoot. Well, I have disconnected it, and I haven't seen it do anything to kick anybody out. Do we think it's gone? I think it might be taking, it might be time. Okay, so here's a big question. It might be taking time to disconnect. Okay, Ann Rudner, is it too late for winter sowing now? You're in Massachusetts. No, it's not too late for winter sowing. You're in a colder zone than I am. And basically, for winter sowing, although technically you can do like jug sowing, that's not technically winter sowing at any point, but to have stuff grow in time for your summer, spring or summer garden, and mostly summer at this point, because you're probably a little too late to start seeds for cool weather crops at this stage. But in Massachusetts, basically zones 1 through 7A-ish. I'm in Maryland, zone 7A. You can still sow. In fact, I'm going to be winter sowing my tomatoes tomorrow and my eggplant tomorrow. So you can still winter sow your veggies, flowers, all of that. Okay, let's get to another question. Bumbling Gardener, can you sow warm season annuals like zinnias using the same method? Yes, you absolutely can. Now, zinnias are super easy to grow on their own in the garden, like direct sowing. But last year I did both direct sowing and winter sowing my jugs, and for zinnias, and they both did really good. So I absolutely recommend. And like I said, tomorrow's winter sowing day for my tomatoes, so watch out for that video. So absolutely, you can do, basically you can winter sow anything other than plants that are coming as bulbs. You can even winter sow things that will become bulbs later on, like the seeds that the plant then generates a bulb at the bottom. But you can plant anything, even root vegetables. I think I did beets and carrots last year. Now my beets didn't do good, but that was because I planted them in a shady area. That was operator error, not winter sowing error. Okay. Nalina Munchie asked, you don't see condensation in all your jugs and you don't know why. Okay. So, if it's still freezing outside, then it's okay if you don't see condensation, because basically the water will be frozen to the side of your jugs or inside of your jugs. And honestly, if it's still that cold, then your seeds probably won't have sprouted. So condensation isn't as big of an issue. Really, when you want to see and need to see condensation is when your plants have started sprouting and it's warm enough for that greenhouse effect to happen. At that stage, if you're not seeing condensation, You can troubleshoot. You can look to see if the tape isn't taped up right. You can try sticking the bottoms of the jugs in a shallow pan of water for like 5 to 10 minutes and help allow the soil to absorb the water from the bottom. And you can also check whether you have enough holes. For example, I reused a jug from last year that only had like 4 holes in it, and apparently it was one of the first ones I made because I put a lot more than that in the bottom of my jugs, and it is not draining properly, and it is not condensating either, and I'm not really sure what the issue is. So try troubleshooting if you're not seeing condensation. And yeah, Nalina Munchie, tell me, is it still freezing outside for you? Because I think that is sort of the differentiation on whether you should worry yet or not. You also asked, you have winter sown tomatoes and eggplants already, Zone B, Connecticut. Is that okay? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, so the thing with winter sowing again is basically you can start them anytime in the cold season because they're not going to sprout till it gets warm enough, till nature basically tells them to sprout. Enough warm days that they're genetically triggered, like nature tells them to sprout, just like flowers have genes that tell them when to blossom, things like that. So you really don't have to worry about planting cold vegetables too early as long as the dead of winter has happened for you. But you definitely, there is sort of an end time when to plant them primarily because you need to have them grown in time to put in your garden. But really, you basically have, for all zones, you basically have from like early to mid-February to like mid-March. And then the cooler zones, like 1 through 7, you have pretty much until like early April to get your jugs out in time for like your summer garden. Tinker's wife, when did you start using the winter sowing method and how did you discover it? That's a good question. So this is only my second year doing true gardening. Like I've gone out and bought plants before and flowers and sort of tinkered around, but we bought our house almost 3 years ago, and the first year we were just busy learning how to have a house and do all that stuff. And then the next year, which happened to be the first year of the pandemic, right before all that happened in like late 2019, I was trying to figure out, I wanted to grow things from seed. Part of why I've started gardening is I want to be as self-sufficient as possible for my food supplies. This is way pre-COVID. And so learning how to grow plants from seeds, how to harvest the seeds, how to reuse the seeds, how to use the plants, all of that's important to me. And I was searching around for how to start seeds, and I was at my wit's end for like, what grow lights do I get? What setup? Do I need a chains to let the grow lights go down in the house? All of that. And I was just going crazy. And then I happened upon, and I highly recommend checking out her channel. She's the woman that I learned all of this from. Cheryl Mann, I think it's the Juicing Gardener is the name of her channel. And she had series of videos, I think she's done like more than 100, on the winter sowing process. And it was like a light bulb went off for me, and I was like, oh, this is something I can understand. It's easy to do. I see the results. I joined her winter sowing group. It's Winter Sowing Vegetables with Cheryl Mann, I think is the name of the group. I'm actually a moderator on it, so I should know it by heart. But yeah, the group was super helpful, and it took a lot of the stress out about when to start hardening plants, all of that. Basically, you let Mother Nature take over, and it's so much less stressful. And I think I didn't count flowers, but I had, I think, more than 160 seedlings for my tiny garden. I gave about 3/4 away. I had more than 160 seedlings grow last year when I needed like 40. So yeah, that's how I got into it. VSM, I bought some seed potatoes, onion bulbs, and some flower bulbs. Can I winter sow them? I don't recommend using the winter sowing process for things that could rot easily, like potatoes, or bulbed flowers, or bulbed onions. Now, if you're growing onions from seed, which then turn into bulbs, then you'll be fine. But because it's okay. Seeds do okay being in moisture when even I was able to grow like lima beans, which are super big seeds. I was able to grow them using winter sowing. But if it's a big bulb, that kind of also, in addition to that, it needs to be in the ground. Part of how the bulbs survive is having the warmer temperature of the soil sustain them over the winter. And your winter sowing jugs are basically frozen for a good month or two. And really, that's not how bulbs work. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if, yeah, there is a lag. I'm sorry about that, Diane Tucker. Also, I'm going way back to read questions because I'm really slow, so it's probably also my fault. Lynn Chandler asks, so yeah, I'm going real slow answering questions, I'm sorry. Lynn Chandler, yeah, like I can see questions way further down, but, oh, now I lost it. Lynn Chandler asked, have you ever had mold or fungus develop inside of a jug? And if so, did you just trash it? So, oh, good. Yes. Susan G found Cheryl's videos. That's awesome. You can have some fungus or like some green mold develop on the inside. I have found that a little bit of it is just fine. It's a sign of a really moist soil and environment. But if your jug is like covered in a coat of it, that could be problematic. And you may want to consider drilling holes, more holes in the bottom of your jug or other things to help it drain, because it's highly likely that the moisture is not able to get out of the jug if you have that level of fungal or mold content. I had one jug last year that got really green, and not like pretty green, but like ocean slime green, right? And nothing sprouted from it. So I definitely think keep an eye on that. And I hope that answers that question. I'm only answering things that are in bold because my ADD can't handle answering every single one. So all caps, all caps. All right. LaDonna Nation wants to know update on 15-year-old seeds. Alas, no life in sight, but it's not over yet because none of the tomato seeds or peppers have sprouted yet. And really, for my zone, granted, I haven't planted any other tomato seeds, but none of my peppers have sprouted yet. And so that's a sign to me that it'll be at least another couple weeks till I need to start worrying about whether those old tomato seeds are actually growing. Michelle Stevens, has anyone tried to grow white monarch flowers? Are you talking about milkweed? I think you are. If you are talking about milkweed, yes, I've heard of people doing it. This is my first year trying it, and actually my one freaking problematic jug so far, the one that has too few holes in the bottom and that the tape keeps coming off of, is my butterfly weed, and I'm so upset because I really, really that's one of the flowers I really wanted to grow this year. But, yes, and Nalina, totally go ahead and ask non-winter sowing questions, especially if if this is your first time getting to it. I'm literally just going down in order from what I see the questions. So, VSM, what should you do with bulbs? Sow directly now or what? You know what? I wish I had an answer for you on that. I think it depends on the bulbs. A lot of them like to be sown in the fall so that they can sprout in the spring. But I would definitely check out the directions on the package for when to sow your bulbs and stick with that. And I apologize, I don't have more direct information. Okay, the two plants behind me. Drops Family Garden, a non-winter sowing question. So this, I actually don't know the kind they are, but this plant was a plant I rescued from my office a month after they closed down the office, or 2 weeks after they closed down the office in Virginia. And it had vines growing for like 10 or 15 feet. They were reaching for the sun and almost no life up here. And I got it home, and the container kept tipping over and falling and losing all of its soil. And I said, you know what? I'm looking it up. I looked it up and I cut the vines back. You can see a couple of them that I left a little bit of. I did some major surgery last year on this guy. And sure enough, it started growing out the top, and it's a very happy plant. And of course I added, now it's really dry, I need to water it tomorrow. I added, ignore the pots and pans that need to be washed that were behind. But I added I potted up with new potting soil too, because it was really desperate for nutrition. The other one, it says it on it. You're a kalanchoe. Oh gosh, now you know how bad I am with pronouncing flowers. Kalanchoe. I actually had a problem with spider mites or aphids or something. I had a problem with this plant dying, and I had to, if you can see, I had to use some neem oil, and I had to do an amputation to get rid of the one that they had taken over and almost killed. And now it's doing pretty good, I think. I bought this for $3 on clearance last year while it was at the end of its blooming, and I have been able to keep it alive in the house. Yeah. Arrowhead plant. Thank you, Cheyenne Desmet. Yes. And that makes sense because it's an arrowhead shape. Mystery solved. Now, has anybody noticed my little gnomes? I got these at the dollar store. I just thought they were so cute. And they're too small to put like out in the garden. They would just disappear. But I just thought, oh, some little happy gnomes for my maybe blessing the house or something. I don't know. Nightbot was fired. Yes, Nightbot has been vanquished, at least for now. Lynn Chandler asked, where did my love of gardening and plants come from? So actually, this reminds me of something. Guys, I had a list of things to talk about, and I haven't even looked at it. Like, I had a list. Of course, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I had a list. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was yesterday was my maternal grandmother's 100th birthday. She turned 100 yesterday. She's lost a lot of her sight and hearing, but she's still very with it. And we did a Zoom call and with my aunt who she's staying with, and a whole bunch of family members and friends called in, and she could hear us talk. She couldn't see us, but she could hear us talking, and she was responding, and she was a little bit vain. I love my grandma, but she was a little bit vain in her life and was always proud about how she looked 20 years younger than everybody else. And when somebody reminded her that she'd turned 100, she goes, oh, I have. She was so horrified for a couple of seconds. But what I'm trying to get to, and she was really happy to hear all of our voices. But while we were waiting for her to come out to the place that the Zoom had been set up, we started talking about our memories. And my grandma, like, one of my favorite memories about her was her out in the garden. My parents had a house between two dairy farms and out in Jefferson, Maryland. And they had a nice, I don't know how many acres, but they had a nice size vegetable garden. And you know, me with I didn't really care much about that, but I remember going out and seeing my grandma taking care of the tomatoes with my mom, and she would tie them up with her old nylons, her old stocking hose. And I thought it was so strange. She goes, well, I wash them. And then, you know, she explained to me that you want to tie tomatoes up with something that's softer than the plant itself so it doesn't cut through it. Now, I don't use hose, so I don't have that option, but every time I trellis up a tomato, I think about that. And thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Mom! Okay, Mom's on! Viola Wielden, that's my mom. And that means my dad's watching too. And Mom told me, actually, she told me that so I knew this, but my grandpa on my mom's side was an avid gardener, or great grandpa was an avid gardener, and he would he would go, she told me a story about how he would go out into the woods and just sit there and birds would land on him. And like, he was that much in touch with nature. And just, I think it's in my blood, to be honest. I think the love of nature is part of, and I did grow up going on hikes, and my mom loves trees. And so we would go out looking at trees like at, why am I forgetting? Mom, what's the name of the Civil War cemetery that I'm totally blanking? Gettysburg. They have a beautiful, in Gettysburg, they have a beautiful cemetery with the most old, large trees. And she would walk around with me and Dad back pre-COVID and tell me all the tree names. So yeah, I think just the love of gardening is in my blood. And to be honest, getting to know nature, I'm learning so much about myself. And oh, was my doggy in here? Yeah, that's just Mom. Yay, in the house. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm learning so much about like nature wants to live. It wants to survive. It wants to thrive. And basically, all we're doing is helping facilitate it. And it's so neat to see the experience of a plant thriving. And I kind of laugh when people are like, look at this plant that I grew. And it's like, well, technically, the plant grew it. You helped it get its conditions right. But the plant, if it had its way, it would rather drop the tomato and have the seed actually replant, right? They're growing their fruit despite you taking it away from them. And it's just so neat how we've ended up with this sort of symbiosis with nature and finding a way to foster it. Yes. Lynn Chandler, I get the blood thing. My grandmother also loved to garden and canned tomatoes and pickling cucumbers. And I think that's why I love nature and gardening too. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, if I honestly think that if you just go out, if you aren't already, and I'm sure you are, but if you just go out and observe nature, like I started getting into foraging. I didn't get very far into it, but I started getting into foraging, and all of a sudden I started noticing plants. I started noticing different plants when I would be walking to the metro to go to work, like in 2019, and I would start noticing like the little wildflowers and things I had never noticed before because I was in such a rush. But now that I was trying to forage and learn things, I would notice things like when the acorns were ready to harvest. Not that I've done that yet. I'm not quite brave enough to harvest the acorns from our street because, anyway. But, yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I guess that probably comes across. Michelle Stevens, have any of you amended your soil with manure and had a good result? So, this is like I said, this is my second year winter sowing or my second year gardening. And so this year is the first year I'm adding a new layer of compost to my garden. Last year I started off, other than the in-ground garden that I sort of put together at the last minute, I did a lot of raised beds, and there's this thing called Mel's Mix, which is Mel Bartholomew, who's kind of the founder of Square Foot Gardening. He's another one of the processes I learned last year that really made a difference in my ability to garden, because my front yard is full of vines and and tree, tree vines or roots growing along the ground. And you really can't dig down very easy. And so having a raised bed was really helpful. And for that one, you do like, let's see if I get his formula right. Oh yeah, don't forget to thumbs up, guys. The Mel's Mix is equal parts compost that needs to be at least 3 to 5, but 5 preferably types of compost, as well as 1 part either coconut coir or peat moss, although coconut coir is the more environmentally friendly option, but peat moss is the cheaper, easier to find option. So I go back and forth between them from whatever I can find. And then the third part is either perlite or coarse vermiculite. Ah, somebody put it in here. Yes, Bumbling Gardener, you got it. And so that is what I used last year. And then I've been watching a lot of Charles Dowding, the British gardener, the no-dig gardener, and I love him. He's so mellow that I feel totally calm when it's over, and when I'm watching it, he almost puts me to sleep, but in a good way. And he talks about just putting a thin layer of soil on top of the bed, a thin layer of compost, maybe like 1 inch or 2 at most, to kind of top off the bed. And so what I've done this year is I'm using something called leaf grow, which is basically Maryland gathers all of the street leaves and composts them and then sells them back to you. And it's supposed to be organic. I kind of question that because I had some plants sort of freak out last year. Yeah, oh, who said that? He's like the painter fellow. What was his name? Bumbling Gardener. Oh, you're talking about Bob Ross. Yes, the Tinkerer's wife. Bob Ross, yes. Oh, the happy little trees. Or no, I'm saying British somehow. I'm a British Bob Ross. The happy trees. Put the happy trees. And maybe a happy little thing of a happy little river here. Yes, I loved. I grew up learning how to paint from him. Our 6th grade teacher, Mr. Matthews, would have us watch it and paint. And I never looked as good as his, but it was sure fun. Yeah. I do. Charles Dowding is just there. Yeah, he's just someone. And if you haven't seen it, he actually, I know he doesn't do the winter sowing process itself, but he actually does grow seedlings for root vegetables. He grows beets and he grows, almost 70. My goodness. Almost 70 people in here. He grows, he does seedlings for beets and for radishes. And to me, that's a sign the winter sowing process can work for root vegetables really well because, what, River? What do you want? What you going on? No, you can't come up on the couch. Nope, not on the couch. All right, I'm a sucker. You can come up on the couch. Come on, over here. Nah, never mind. I'll just pet you later. All right. Oh yeah, the Rusted Gardener is also very good. Lisa Moore, I really enjoy that. And yeah, there's just a lot of really good gardening channels out there. I watch a lot of them, and I watch a lot of the people who are here. I watch a lot of your videos as well. And I have to say, one of my favorite things about this process has been the community. I have to tell you, so when I started this channel, I thought, like I've said, I thought I'd have like 5 people, 10 people as subscribers, and I would just keep a record of my garden. And then next time I watch him, I will hear Bob Ross totally, 100%. Where was I? Yes. And I would watch, on Roots and Refuge, I would watch Jessica have people responding to her in chats with comments and suggestions and advice. And in addition to wanting to learn how to garden, I really was looking forward to having that sort of interaction with viewers that is starting to happen for the channel. Many of you comment both encouragement and questions and advice, and to me that just is so much fun and just such a rewarding thing that it makes doing all of this worth it. Really, this community. I can remember I have like my 5th video back when I didn't even know you could turn the camera sideways. Yeah, you'll find those videos if you look back far enough. And I remember asking a question and nobody answered. And I mean, I got it. Like, nobody was watching it, but I was kind of bummed. And now I know I don't even have to ask a question. If I say something. And then, I try to be as responsive as I can to answer any questions you have. Because I think, there are so many people out there who are sincerely, like at the stage I was last year, sincerely trying to garden. Maybe last year you bought some seedlings for like $5 a pot, right? $5 a piece at the Home Depot or a box store. And then maybe it didn't do well because the plant wasn't healthy, or you just didn't know about soil enough and all that stuff. And I want to help people who were kind of at that beginning stage. And I kind of feel like the fact that I'm new enough at this gives me perspective, hopefully, to know what to say that can help the beginning gardeners, the things that I wish I had known. And if you ever find me getting too highfalutin tootin' for my own good, feel free to knock me off my pedestal. I don't know that it's possible for me, but if it does, tell me. Yeah. Okay. Back to the chat. I've been Esther chatting. Let's see. Yes, I bought Jess's book too. In fact, it's not here. It's by my bed because I like reading a chapter before I go to sleep. My dad bought it for me. He bought me Jessica's book on pre-order at Christmas time and gave me the receipt. And I was so worried that it got canceled or something. And then I saw that everybody was saying it had been delayed. And so when it arrived last week, I'm already like halfway through it, and there's so much good stuff in it. I really enjoy it. And if you're new to gardening, definitely check out her book. It covers the fundamentals of kind of understanding gardening. So yeah. Tinkerer's Wife, your love of community shows here and how you interact with your community. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, when gardeners share mistakes, subject of plants, when gardeners share mistakes, it is how we learn. And I am trying to let you know when I don't know what I'm doing or when I've made a mistake. And also let you know how I kind of got around it. Wait, who in here is named River Song? That's the name of my dog. Oh! Anyway, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so it's a Doctor Who reference. But there's also a River Song Valley in World of Warcraft, I think. Yeah, I was really into thanks to my husband, I was really into that at one point. Tina Hall, you winter sowed some tomatoes today? That's awesome. It will work. You will do right. You will do fine. You will have more tomatoes than you know what to do with, because most likely you planted a lot of seeds like we all tend to do, and it'll be so great. You'll make new friends giving away all those seeds, all those plants. I don't recall the name of Jessica's book. But if you just look up Jessica Sowers or look up her YouTube channel, Roots and Refuge, you'll find it. I think she has it in the show notes, so you can definitely find it there. Yeah. Well, let's see. How long have we been going? Oh, almost an hour, guys. Skin tips. All right, just so you stop asking, I'll tell you. I don't know. I have this lotion and face soap that I get from like the local co-op or health food store, and I've just tried a bunch of different ones. I don't know the name of it, but I've tried a bunch of different ones. My face gets dry very easily, so I try to buy ones that have calendula in it, but honestly, my face isn't as amazing as you think. But hey, I appreciate that you're asking. Always feel like you're planting too many seeds, Lynn. What is your rule of thumb for this? Okay, yeah, so I'm still figuring out how many seeds to plant, to be honest. My one rule of thumb right now for planting seeds is I will only do, when I'm winter sowing, I will only do one seed per hole. So let's say that I'm worried I won't have enough seeds that sprout, if it's like an older seed that I've had for a few years. Then what I do is I go and I plant two seeds fairly close to each other instead of right on top of each other. And the reason being is when you go to take the seedlings out of your jug in the spring, they will be so intertwined with each other that pulling their roots apart will really be a challenge. And they'll probably be okay, but it's just a lot of work. You have to work with them, you have to go back and forth, you kind of have to slowly jostle them apart. And when they have a little bit more space between the seeds, they're much easier to separate. So if you're lucky enough, which with the winter sowing process, if the seeds are viable, all of them will sprout. If you're lucky enough, I'll plant 14 seeds when I'm aiming for 7 plants. But in case all 14 sprout, I'm not going to have them on top of each other. Does that make sense? Daryl, yes, I have tried sunflowers for winter sowing. This is my first year. GLG what? What am I the wrong person to ask for? Oh, good night, Diane. Thank you for checking in, and I'm sorry if I missed anybody else leaving. So currently I am growing some sunflowers in a jug, but I have not, this is my first year trying them. So if anybody else in here has done sunflowers, let me know. I can tell you that some of them have sprouted. In fact, you'll see in my video tomorrow about them. So clearly it works well enough for them to sprout. Now, whether they'll outgrow the jug before I can transplant them is a whole nother matter. But, they may they may all be fighting to come out of the top of the jug before it's warm enough. Because I know that, these are tall flowers. They're going to go fast. But they can handle a little bit of frost, I've read. I checked that out today. And so hopefully they'll be okay. Oh, yeah. Tonight's the time change. Oh, yeah. Make sure to change your clocks, guys. That's a good idea. Are there other gardeners in my neighborhood? Yeah, there are. I found actually oh, good. Tinker's wife said they should be okay. So that's good. With a light frost. Good. That's good to know. Thank you. I've been lucky so last year when I didn't know what to grow, I knew I wanted to grow tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers or whatever. And I had, I had that Baker's Creek catalog with just about every page tabbed and highlighted of something I wanted to buy, some seeds I wanted to buy. And, I went to my local in Greenbelt, Maryland, which is the nearest sort of active gardening community. It's it's basically a retirement community. So a lot of well-experienced gardeners there. And I just chatted to them and I said, hey guys, what grows best for you in this area? What have you had the most success with? And those were the plants that I bought to start off with. Now, the squash and vine borer and cucumber beetles took out those plants, but the other plants that they recommended did amazing. They recommended, now I think this green zebra tomato was my own because it just looked so cool, but the purple Cherokee tomato they recommended, and that did amazing in my area. Yeah, so I recommend checking with your local group on what performs best in your area, although it's a little different than like native plants. You can grow most things in your area if you kind of treat it right, baby it. Some take a little more work because it's not the place where they normally grow. Am I growing Cleome yet? So I went to a seed swap last year before the pandemic was bad. My parents went with me. And there was this bag of Cleome seeds. And a lady said to me that they look like, or actually she had a bunch in her purse that she was giving away to people in little baggies because I guess they're just, if she had found them the last minute or something. And she gave me a bag of the seeds and she said that they look like little fireworks going off in the air. And I just thought, oh, that's amazing. But I didn't Google the plant, the flower, and I didn't know these things get taller than you are when they're searching for the sun. And they have like these alien arms that go out. And they're beautiful. They're stunning. And they're, along with coxcomb, they're probably like the two most unique looking flowers I've grown so far. So yeah, I grew cleomes using winter sowing last year. And I'm going to do that again this year. And they really are alien-like, but they're so fun. And honestly, the pollinators love them. I just didn't realize that they would like overshadow all of my zinnias. I had to cut an entire cleome plant back just so my zinnias could get some sun because it got so massive. I mean, like above my head massive. Oh yeah, they will self-seed. They have these pods. Cleome have these pods that when they're ready, if you just touch them, they'll kind of explode and go everywhere. So this is my first year finding out where I have volunteers from self-seeding plants, and I'm sure my pepper / radish / beet bed is going to be riddled with little cleome plants this spring when it gets warm enough. Okay, we will do a second giveaway now. River, hush. The neighbor's getting home from their church service. You leave them alone. Nope. No. Let's see if this works. Magic. Okay. All right, so I have to plug the bot back in, and so nobody do anything crazy. But if you have chatted in the last 10 minutes, you'll be okay. And I need to read the terms of the game of the thing again, just for legal reasons. So I won't turn the bot on until I've done this, just to limit the exposure to our OCD Nightbot. Okay, so this giveaway is free to enter. You must be present to win, as in active in the live chat. It's not affiliated or associated with YouTube, and YouTube is not a sponsor. It complies with YouTube's terms of service. I'm using, as we all know, the random generator called Nightbot, which really is sounding threatening more so than anything now. To be entered into the... Lulu, stop. Come on. To be entered into the giveaway, you will need to have chatted in the live chat in the last 10 minutes. And also, you need to have your email address in your About section of your YouTube page so that I can find you. And I'd say within like the next 24 hours, make sure it's there, because probably tomorrow night I'll be sending the emails to the winners. Okay, guys, fingers crossed. We're turning Nightbot back on. Doo, doo, doo. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Joining the channel. Oh, I should tell you what you're going to win. I might still do one more after this, but these are the ones for now. We have, these are from the dollar store, but I think you'll have fun. Chives is one of them. Then I've talked a lot about, and I think I mispronounce it every time, but borage, B-O-R-A-G-E. This is a great plant to have to draw in wasps and other things that will kill off your predators to your plants. I had these next to my tomatoes, and I had very little tomato hornworms this year. And also, they're edible, actually. And then the last one I got at a store. I was thinking about, what am I going to do? And I bought a pack for myself, but I'm going to give it away here as well. Look at these. Aren't these gorgeous? These are bush beans, royal burgundy, and they are just so pretty. They're going to be gorgeous in your garden. All right, so guys, let's try. Nightbot is going to become the new dirty name, but let's do the giveaway, and let's see if we can get it to work. Fingers crossed, everybody. Good luck. Doo, doo, doo. Who won? Who won? Oh my gosh, if it doesn't work, this will be hilarious. I might have to try it again. Did it do it? Did it announce it? Did we have a winner? Error loading a list of recent chatters. We'll try again. Well, that's not nice, Nightbot. Get your crap together. Let's try this again. No, I type in winner and then it does it. Let's see. It deleted Patty again. No. Oy. Hey, my moderator won. Congratulations, Chrissy. All right, before I do anything else, I'm going to disconnect this guy. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Settings. How do I kick you out of my program? Dashboard. Part with channel. Nightbot is now leaving the channel, guys. Lynn, it'll let you back in a second. Just hold off. Nobody type anything till it's gone. All right, I promise I will figure out the security settings next time. So if I do a giveaway, this won't be a problem. Okay, so Chrissy, you win, and you totally deserve it. And oh no, did somebody kick Mike out? Yay, totally deserve it. And now you have to winter sow them and tell me how they go, okay? That would be awesome. I mean, of course, there's no terms to winning, but I'd love it if you do. That would be so cool. All right, I think we're good. It should be done. And fingers crossed that we have a behaving Nightbot has left the building. I think so. Oh, I'm sorry, Heidi, if you got kicked off. I will fix the I will do my best to fix the security settings. I knew something would go wrong on this live. Little did I know that the biggest problem would be the auto winning generator program that I picked. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Chrissy. I think it's because I entertain myself. But also, you guys are so awesome. All right. You're going to have to remind me which things... Oh, Nightbot has been booted. Nightbot is out of this house. It's out of here. Go on. Okay, good night, LaDonna. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I think we'll go for maybe 15 more minutes, and then we'll call it a night. And I have to say, the fact that the number hasn't dropped to like 10 after this last drawing makes me very happy. And it goes down, but somebody already said goodbye. And we'll do more 10 more minutes, and then I will go to the fridge and pull out a nice cold bottle and celebrate, because this has been so much fun, you guys. I am enjoying this so much. I don't know why I was so nervous. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. Yeah, and everybody make sure to check out the Winter Sowing series. I'd love to hear your suggestions for what else you want. You don't have to leave yet. We're still going to go for a few more minutes. 10 more minutes, guys. We'll go to 10 o'clock Eastern time. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I honestly thought we would all be out of things to talk about after like 20 minutes. So this is really neat. I'm really, really thrilled. Oh, and I don't know if she's on tonight or not, but my friend Anne from the Winter Sewing group sent me this beautiful medallion to wear for jewelry, and I've been wearing it for good luck tonight because it makes me feel special. It's so sweet of her. How late do you winter sew? So yeah, it's so pretty, isn't it? Actually, I should get closer. It's like purple sparkles. Yeah, I love it. Oh, yay! She is on Anna. My good luck charm, obviously. So, what was I answering? Oh yeah, go ahead, Chrissy, share your link. That's totally awesome and totally fine. Um, I'm glad you found it helpful, everyone. And oh, the question was, um, oh, see, now am I having a hard time focusing? Ooh, Nalini has teddy bear sunflower seeds. That sounds awesome. This sounds really good. Okay, so real quick, if you're, thank you, Barb. How late do you winter sow? So here's the secret to winter sowing. Basically, you can winter sow year round. The term winter sowing, it basically applies to doing the jugs in the winter and early spring. But you can jug sow using the same method all year. I think in the summer, you have to, if you're like trying to grow something for the late fall to over fall, have last over the fall, you would, you can, I think you have to be more careful about it overheating in the summer, but basically, oh, well, see, Tiana, I think you'll be okay. Basically, if you're in zones 1 through 7, you have until early to mid-April to get your warm weather vegetables and flowers sowed and enough time for them to grow in decent sized seedlings for you to transplant them. But honestly, the prime time for winter sowing for all zones is really like February and March. So if you could get, and really, really warm zones like California, like southern Texas, things like that, you might have a little more challenge because it's starting to get to the hot season. But you could certainly try, because last year I had a friend who said she wanted something, and I think I winter sowed it early to mid-April, and by like mid-May I was able to give them to her. So honestly, I think you could honestly think you could try it anytime. You just have to be a little more careful when it's not in winter, because the jugs can get overheated. Anna, do you want to weigh in there? And she's also knows all about winter sowing, and maybe she has some thoughts on timing. If yeah, it's just been a wonderful long chat here. Okay, does winter sowing eliminate the need for hardening off? Yes and no. So my understanding is that when you grow seedlings indoors, you need to harden them off over a period of a couple weeks sometimes. Now, granted, this is not something I've done because I've only ever used winter sowing for growing my veggies other than direct sowing. But when you are about to transplant your seedlings from your jugs, they do need a little bit of time, 1 to 2 days, to acclimate. So what I do is, let's say I know I'm ready to transplant out my seedlings. What I'll do is the first day, I will take off the tape and open the jugs and kind of let the plants air out a little bit. And then I will put them in a shaded part of the deck, and not in direct sun. I'll put them in a shaded part for that day. Let them be exposed to the air, to kind of the different temperature than in the jug. It's much warmer in the jug than outside. And if I see them really fading fast, I might put the lid back on, not tape it up, but leave the lid on the rest of the day. But what I do then is the second day, I take the lid off all the way and I put it out in the sun for either the entire day or most of the day. And you definitely put the lid back on at night for the first night, especially if it's chilly. But a lot of things are so big that once you open it up, there's really no getting the genie back in the bottle, right? And so you kind of do your best to help protect them. But really, 2 days is all you really need. And you don't have to like baby them, like have them outside for only an hour or whatever. You never bring your jugs inside anyway. But like, you just take the tape off, which you're going to do anyway, lift the lid up, give it some air. The next day, let it have sun, and then you can transplant it. And they always, yeah, that's a good suggestion. Anna says, to see if there's still enough days to get that crop to harvest if you winter sow today. Yeah, I think so. So the reason winter sowing works is because basically nature decides when it sprouts. But if you're planting your seeds in jugs after the time when most things are sprouting in those jugs, then you're basically deciding that they will sprout within the number of days they normally sprout if you had directly sowed them. And so at that stage, when you're planting them like in late March and early April, you're basically timing wise doing the process you would be doing growing seedlings indoors. It's a little bit different. Yeah, I think that, yeah, and really, I think the fun part about winter sowing is you can start off with just a few jugs and see how well it works. And trust me when I say that I can't imagine, like I did grow some basil, some Thai basil, and the Italian basil in the windowsill last year because I got someone who I gave seedlings to gave me some little baby Italian basil seedlings in half of an eggshell. And so I knew it wasn't accustomed to the outside. So I potted them up into a little small container and put them in the windowsill. And then I was a little far behind when I found, you're buying seeds all the time. It's just kind of the addiction of growing. And so I found these Thai basil seeds that was like late April, and I grew those in the window. But yeah, I mean, I've winter sowed just about everything, and so far it's done really well. Yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to start winding down here. Was there any other big questions I missed? Thank you. I'm glad you found it fun, Daryl. Daryl Farney. I hope everyone had a good time. I hope I didn't flub up too much. And Nalini Munshi started with 52 jugs for the first time. That's basically what I did too. I think the biggest challenge of winter sowing is actually when you succeed so well that you then have to figure out where you're going to put all those plants. And with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please, if you aren't already a subscriber, check out my channel. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I look forward to interacting with you. I will definitely be doing this again soon, hopefully. I don't know how frequently, but I've had a really good time tonight. And I just really, really appreciate everyone tuning in. Such a fun time. And yeah, happy growing and winter sowing, everyone. Now I have to figure out how to end the live. Oh, make sure to hit the like button on your way out. All right. Oh, I'm going to end the way I end. If not, I'll see you next time. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.